Let's go ahead and start our live session for today, day 4. I am going to remind you of the kids' rights, which just popped up a minute ago. Many of you have already read these. These were sent out to your parent or guardian on Monday. So hopefully you've been able to take a look at them. They're just really important rights that everyone in our community should have, including all of you. And it's important to think of these rights as you design your space for your special client. I'll remind you really quickly too of our daily schedule. I'm sure most of you have this down by now since we're on day 4, but you know that your parents or guardians have been emailed a daily lesson PDF. So make sure to go through that. Watch the pre-recorded video before the live session if you can. If you can't get to it, it's fine. But make sure you watch it the day that it's sent. Every day has special activities for that day in your architect journal. And we're so glad you're here today during the live session. We'll be done by 1:30. After 1:30, continue working through your journal. Keep working on the activity we talked about during the live session. And if you want to do more, there's always a bonus challenge. So I am going to hand it off to Allison, who you saw in the pre-recorded video, and she is going to talk about designing your model for your special client, which you'll mostly be working on tomorrow.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. I am so excited to get to meet you guys here in this live format. I hope you enjoyed the video earlier today. So as Kim mentioned, I'm going to talk a little bit about building models because that's what you're going to begin doing for your final project. And models are a tool that we as designers and architects use in our design process. It helps us see the space that we're creating in 3 dimensions instead of just a blank piece of paper. And because of that, it helps us evolve our design. So remember, design is a process. We start at one point by listening to our client and hearing and understanding their needs. And then we start to think about that, which you have done already in your journal yesterday, working through the design development sheet for your client. So you've already picked a client and you've worked through listening or thinking about how you would listen to that client and what they might need. And then you've done your design development sheet. So we as architects do that. Then we think of a design, which a lot of you probably did earlier today with designing an elevation. And we think about how our design is going to represent our clients' needs and wants. And models are a helpful tool for us to, again, see it in 3 dimensions and also communicate to our clients what their space is going to be like. It informs our design decision-making process, and it also allows our clients who may not be trained designers see the space better. Okay, so hopefully you've had a chance to find some items around your home. I want to make sure that whatever you use to make your model, that you have permission to do so. That's, really important. So your model is going to be made out of found objects in your home, recycled objects, and items that maybe you can place in your model but still take out when you're done and put back where they belong. Models are a representation of our project, not an exact replication. So our model is used to convey our ideas, and it's okay if you don't have something that looks exactly like what you're thinking, as long as it represents what you're thinking. So I spent a little bit of time starting a model for our client, Penny the Penguin, that you guys talked about yesterday. And I want to show you what I did a little bit so that it might help give you some ideas of how you might build your model. Okay, so Penny the Penguin, if you remember, she likes to solve math problems. She loves science. She likes to move and wiggle and fidget. So she needs a lot of things in her space to help her concentrate. She likes to learn, but also take dance breaks with friends. And she needs to swim and catch food underwater, etc. So in the design development sheet, we thought about those things that Penny the Penguin likes, and we developed a program or the spaces that Penny the Penguin might want in the school that we are designing. So a library of books on math and science, classrooms, cozy spots, etc. So here you can see the start of my model. So based on my design development sheet, I thought about an elevation at the front, a facade, okay, and started to think about what a penguin school might look like. So she obviously lives in an Arctic zone. So you can see, I don't know if you can see, can you guys see the lines that I drew on my construction paper? So I thought maybe the wall would be made out of ice block, and I didn't have something that looked exactly like an ice block, but I thought that blue paper kind of looks like ice. And then I used my pencil to draw lines to represent the pattern that I wanted my ice block to be in. I also wanted to represent icebergs. So I chose a different material and color here and shapes that look representative of an iceberg floating in the ocean, which penguins live on. We all know that penguins eat fish. So the school symbol is sushi school. And this space here, I'll show you in a minute, shouldn't have any windows. So you'll notice here that this space doesn't have any windows. But behind this part of my elevation is the classroom. So I use the lid of a container to represent a window here for my classroom. And of course, you have to enter through a door. So I picked the box that I did, it's a shoe box here, because it had an interesting pattern on the inside already. Because I thought, since Penny likes to move around a lot, that she probably wanted a really interesting pattern on her walls. So the box that I chose already had that, so that was lucky. But I didn't want the same pattern on the floor. So you'll see that I put brown construction paper on the floor to represent a different material. Now, we talked about her liking to dance. And so this room, you can see my spaces. I used, they have angled walls for the additional rooms. That was, again, inspired by the shape of an iceberg. And so I wanted to represent that inside my space as well. So in my plan, you can see, if I look in plan view, that my hallways are angles. So remember the space that I showed you on the front that didn't have any windows? That is my disco ballroom. And since Penny loves science, instead of a regular disco ball, I found this gym rock at my house. Can you see that? To use as my disco ball. And then I simply used pipe cleaners to attach it, pipe cleaners and tape. So you'll also notice that I have my fidget corner here. I don't know if you guys can see that, represented by a fidget spinner that I found in my house. And she wanted a comfy place to sit, so I found some soft balls in my house. Now, I'm not quite done with my model yet, but as I went along, I thought about different ideas. So originally, my rooms were square shaped, but as I built it, I thought it would be a very interesting design element to have the walls angled. So my model changed my design. I also wanted to make sure that even though the dancing room had no windows, that I did provide a clear story window all the way across the top of my school, because in the region that the penguins live, there's not a lot of daylight all the time. So when it is there, I wanted to make sure that everybody in the school had a chance to see that daylight coming into the building. So one of the other elements that I haven't done yet is the pool, right? We talked about that she needs a saltwater pool full of fish and squid to eat. So I utilized a recycled container from Berries, and I'm going to put it on the outside of my school with my diving board for her to jump in. So just because if you start with a box, it doesn't mean that you have to stay within the box, right? There might be elements that go outside as well. So I hope that gives you some ideas on how to start your model. Think outside the box. She loves science. So remember that container piece that I showed you at the beginning? I took the bottom of that container piece, put eyeball stickers on it, and used a candle to have it light up. Actually, I have to give credit to my daughter Paige for this idea because she came up with it. So a nice little light for the classroom that is also science, right? So I'll take that now that it's built and I'll put that in my classroom. And I can't really, it's hard for me to show it to you, but now it adds light to the classroom. Okay. Now remember, you can use anything to represent different materials. I used a lot of washi tape in my model, again, to kind of add elements to the interior that are different and exciting for my client. One thing that I think sometimes is silly and gets forgotten is the bathroom, which I did design into my space. Again, it was something that I didn't think about until I started building my model. So, sorry, this is really hard to show you guys on a video screen, isn't it? So here's my dancing room, and right next to it will be my bathroom here. And I can't really build something that looks like a toilet or a sink very easily out of construction paper. So I found this cork that I am going to use to represent my bathroom, because it's the represent my toilet in my bathroom, because it's the right scale for my client. So you can use all kinds of elements as long as you have permission. That's important, to make sure that you ask for permission before you add glue in your model. One other tip that I have is sometimes it's hard to, get just the right amount of glue on something to make it stick. So my daughter and I, we use a paintbrush in our glue to help us brush on the glue so that it doesn't get too goopy. So that's an idea that would help you build your model. I see that there's some questions in the chat. Candace?
Yes, yeah. We got a good question from Ainsley. I'm making a skyscraper, but I'm only designing 2 of the rooms. I haven't included a bathroom because it's on one of the other floors. Is that okay?
Absolutely. So again, this is the fun thing about this, right? Is that you get to decide what part of your project in your building that you're going to represent with your model. It doesn't always have to be the whole thing, right? So my model represents 3 different rooms in the school, but I have to imagine there's a lot more than that in my school, right? But I wanted to focus on the design of those elements because they felt the most important to me to represent to my client, Penny.
And it looks like Sabine asked if you could use normal paper or cardboard. And you can use, like Allison said, any materials that you have available and permission to use that you want to. And I know all of you will have different clients from each other. And so I'm sure you all have really creative ideas, but hopefully this has helped you kind of think about how to put your model together.
And sometimes it's helpful too to bounce some ideas off other people. So remember, as design professionals, we rarely work by ourselves. We usually have other individuals in our team that we share our ideas with, and that makes our ideas even better and stronger. So I really encourage you guys to talk with each other and bounce ideas about what you think might be great for your client in your model, because you might be able to take an idea and make it even bigger and better than you originally thought just by working with other people.